So, gamers, let's talk about Pyro drama that's recently, kind of emerged. It's been happening over like the last fucking like 3 weeks or some shit like that. I don't remember. What really brought it to my attention was Turkey Tom's video on it. It's really good, in depth. I'll link that shit in the description. It's very well done, and I'm a huge Pyro fan. He was my favorite content creator for the last 4 or 5 years. I remember, being excited to see his face when he revealed it and all that kind of nice shit. So I've been along with the ride for Pyro for a long time. And I still really love his content. I think he does a great job doing his content. But nonetheless, decisions he's been doing are fairly unacceptable. Like, you can't be, you know, talking to kids that are minors in the way that he did. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the stuff he said low key sounded like a joke. Like the way it was phrased, like I don't remember exactly, but it was like being dead ass about war and shit, and I think that's kind of fucking hilarious and it sounded like jokes. Can't lie. But nonetheless, if those were seriously about, engaging in relations like that with a 15-year-old at the time, he was 19, the kid was 15, that's super fucked up. Like, even if Pyro makes good content that does, I think does fairly decent things for the commentary community, it's still fucked that he does shit like that. I think we should recognize that a little bit more. It's a huge issue. Now, that's not to say the people going against him for these claims aren't doing bad things either. Like, it's ignorant of the kid who did show that Pyro did these wrong things to use grooming in the wrong sense, because that is, that is a legal issue within itself, and the term should be used properly. He claims that he used grooming because he thought it was manipulating a minor into having sexual relations with someone. That's not really, well, specifically over the internet, but that's not really grooming. Grooming is, it's more physical. And I think the kid should have been more aware of that, and, thought about his word choice a little bit clearer. When you write something big and impactful like that, and really if it's affecting you as a person, you should sit on it for, a few days and really think about what you're going to say and make sure that every word has the proper and one direct meaning. And then, there was a bunch of other people who came out with similar claims, and then after Pyro made his somewhat decent Reddit post about defending himself, and a lot of people backed down and were like, oh yeah, sorry, I was kind of like, I was wrong, I was chasing cloud essentially, blah blah blah, what the fuck ever. And I feel like after those people left, everyone assumed everything was wrong. And Turkey Tom talks about this perfectly in his video, can't lie. But, Pyro did lie in his Reddit post, even if it's done really well, and, maybe it disproved a few things here and there. Both posts I read over once with, my quick first mind thoughts right before doing this. And I think it's really important to note that, Pyro did lie. If you read the messages, it's obvious. There's texts that I believe there are texts that directly say that the kid is a minor, and that should be, noted that Pyro did lie. He said he didn't know that the kid was a minor, but the text obviously showed that he knew the kid was a minor. If you want the fucking 20-minute in-depth version of this, go watch Pyro's video. It's fucking amazing. But yeah, Turkey Tom's video, it's really amazing, and it'll give you better in depth. But I think I want to tackle this from the point of view of a Pyro fan more. Now, does this mean he should be kicked off the internet, killed, crucified? I don't really think so. I think he should sit down and go to the proper lengths to become a better human being, and, search therapy like many other people have done before. Like, we see this with the Pokemon situation where, fuck, I forgot his name. The guy who's dealing with the Pokemon situation, he has to go through, he went through, his therapy and all that shit. I think Pyro should go through something similar. That was still 3-4 years ago. So I would say Pyro has, probably improved in many ways, and he could be beyond this point in life. His girlfriend, she said that what he said was wrong, and her thing was kind of an emotional mess that shouldn't be completely regarded as the 100% truth, but still should be noted. But either way, I think there should be there should be more support to encourage him to go get the proper services that he may need if he does need them. And I would say that he does. Even if it's happened 4 years ago, if he hasn't gotten the support, he should get the support. If you do something like that, you should always get support. It's a 4 age year gap. If you, it's like going into fucking high school and having the seniors date the freshmen. Everyone knows that's sus as fuck, and it shouldn't really shouldn't be allowed. It's an adult with a minor, and especially this is from an American point of view, obviously. That's age of consent is 18, sometimes 16, depending on the state you're in. But it's generally extremely unacceptable and not and looked down upon. And I'm not completely sure about the European laws. I know some European nations are 16, some are 18. So it really does depend. But nonetheless, I think there should still be criticism thrown at Pyro, even from his fans. But the fans should encourage him to become a better person, because we don't want Pyro off the internet. He's done a lot of good things for the commentary community as a whole, but he's also done a lot of good things for a lot of YouTubers. He encourages a lot of open speech. He gives good reviews. He makes fair fucking content. It's all really good, and we should give him credit where credit is due. But nonetheless, we should encourage him to seek the proper resources to live a decent life. And I think this is I think a lot of the reason why that he was kind of let off the hook from this, because it happened to so many other YouTubers. I believe Bo Blacks got hit with this and shit like that, where these harsh accusations came through, and everyone's like, oh yeah, 100%, he's fucked, it's over, blah blah blah. He 100% did this, and it was proven that those were false, and then everyone assumed this happened to Pyro. And when Keemstar, like 4 or 5 years ago, when Leafy and all that drama shit was happening, he was like, yeah, this is the famous video of Keemstar saying that Pyro, touches kids and whatnot, and a bunch of weird shit like that. Like, he's this big furry mess, blah, blah, blah. And, everyone remembers that from Keemstar and is like, yeah, no, Pyro isn't that type of person. And I believe the same thing. I was like, there's no way Pyro did this kind of shit. But after, especially Turkey Tom's video, please check that out. It's a good video. It takes it explains the content and the situation very well. It really shows that Pyro most likely did some wrong things here. And I have issues with I love Pyro's content. I think it's good, but I do have issues with what he did. I think you should watch my content. It's a lot of business shit, and I do think of this as an issue that stems past YouTube as well. If you think about it in terms of the entire like business capitalistic ideology as a whole, there are a lot of situations where the quote unquote the fat cats, the big men of the industry will do outlandish things and not get prison time because they have power. And I don't want to see the same thing happen to YouTube, where people do bad things and because they have power they get away with it. And I say this many times over, it feels like I'm beating it to death, but I think Pokimane does similar things where she does morally incorrect things and lies and whatnot, and then she's like, oh, I won't do it again. But everyone gives her a pass because she's in power. And this is really reflected when, like, recently, I believe some streamer got kicked off for accidentally showing sexual content on Twitch, but she did the same thing and easily got away. And it's just it's not really a good thing I like to see happening. And I don't want to see this happen with Pyro either. I think Pyro should be liable for the mistakes he's done. They're not good. They're not good things for anyone. And I think he should be cracked down on a little bit more. Just a little bit. And I want to see, this shouldn't happen to anyone. I still encourage there to be a, innocent until proven guilty ideology on any website. This includes Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, fucking Instagram, whatever the fuck you want. This mentality should stay the same, and it should encourage many people to look at all the facts, but you're always gonna have bandwagons. And I'm not saying that Pyro is doing anything illegal because it's not 100% proven. All we have is some texts, that in theory could be edited by the person who released them. And then we have Pyro's claim, and then we have his girlfriend who, it was an emotional experience that she went through when she, texted that one guy and whatnot. And I think I think we should take everything with a grain of salt and make sure everything's okay. But if you want to ask me for my personal opinion, I do think there's a high probability that this happened. Thank you.